time to see who is going to be taking map number 1. Guys, take it away.
Oh, yes, we are starting on Split. Now, Mitch, this just takes me back, mate, because last time we saw this split, it was actually looking like FPX were going to take it. Then we saw a bit of that lag out come in where it was Zipan got caught and he just had to tweet out afterwards that, well, wait a second, I got a bit of error on the server. It was very unfortunate. We couldn't roll it back. But they were en route to be taking us to a third map. Instead, they went back to the same old play. But this was before the patch. Now we're in the patch. How much has it really buffed them and how much does it change for G2? I love seeing Artis on this race. It just fits well with his character and the type of player he is. But how's it going to work out this time around? Already a lot of flashes going out at the beginning of this pistol round. Smoke's being deployed by Angel. He likes to cover this out. Oh, Mixwell playing off the side of it. Nicely done, straight up into this. And that's going to put FPX in a rough spot straight off the bat.
It is a strong start for G2. They're going in for a little bit more with the flashes they bought up. A player stuck in the corner, good kill, but they weren't aware about Shadow. He was sneaking up behind, taking himself a quick little double, and all of a sudden they're back in the game. He even gets an upgrade for himself. That's a worthwhile trade, especially considering Jet was very low in HP. Now into the 3v3, and you look at G2, they're scrambling. They've got a little bit of control on on B, but there's only one player on A side, and he's got to worry about Heaven and the push up through this main part. That's quite a lot of ground to cover by yourself.
Patatek's going to have to come up huge here. He's tucked himself away in the corner. He's going to give his position away just a little bit here. Oh, and does get spotted, but he has dropped down. Nice use of the abilities. He's completely confused. Xiao's able to take him down. This puts us into the 3v2. And Meadow, he's in a great spot. But will it pay off? Piff's making a lot of noise. It's expected, but Piff, he's a monster. He's a madman with it. The right clicks come through. 2 versus 2. Xiao's got to be careful. He gets caught slipping. This is not what they want to see. Shadow all alone, and he's done so much in this round. But can he finish it off? He doesn't quite want to poke into it. He manages to pull off the reload, but Piff lands the headshot. And G2 pick up the pistol. Oh, Xiao. He's going to be kicking himself about that one.
It hurts. It really does, Banks, but you can't do it all yourself, unfortunately. And Xiao, yeah, looking understandably a little bit disappointed. And the reality is, you come into that round, it starts off well for G2. They looked okay. They looked good. Mixwell finding that second kill even, but Shadow pulled it right back. Then they get the control on the A site, and from that point, you're thinking, okay, this has to be theirs. But it was delivered on by G2. They came through with a vengeance for that early fight, and now they've got that first round under their belt. We look at a position where FPX, even with Spike Plant, they can't afford to buy. And so this should just be a nice, clean second. Some teams will go for a force by round 2. I think it's very map dependent. I think it's also very opposition dependent. You know, versus G2, you're probably not winning that force buy. But if you're versus one of the other teams, you know, I don't want to point out anyone in particular, throw them under the bus, but let's say from the top 5 down, you can make those kind of risks.
Yeah, you might be able to get away with it at times against some of these other teams. I get you. I hear you. For G2, though, it's the start they would have wanted. You've got to say a lot came down to Piff. If Piff didn't pick up that kill onto Meadow, there's no way they're winning that round. Piff came up huge. He was speeding his way as well. He didn't give a damn. For FPX, it's their slow style. And like Tom was mentioning, right? Starting on your defensive side is a massive buffer on a map like Split.
It can help. It can definitely help out. He's right up in their face. He's looking to just shred them. Been a long time coming, this opening fight, and with 3 players, they've overwhelmed them. They're running out of ammo even. And so with that, okay, it's a good trade. If they can find one more, I'll be pretty happy.
Trying to bait him out on that one. Piff still looking hard. It's able to hold on to the site control. Meadow delivers a mean headshot with the Sheriff, but it's going to take a hell of a lot more of them to manage to make this work. They both poke him at the same time. And Xiao, well, there's nothing he can do within this round. He tries to bait it out on the ult orb, but he's just going to sit back and hang tight and let that timer tick down. He also doesn't want to give away his own death so that G2 can grab themselves the extra ability point.
You know, when you look at Split, it's about 60%, and that's reserved figures, I think, from the previous event, the previous EU admission event, at the top 16 teams in that one. So, yeah, about 60% defender-sided. It's a pretty decent chunk. You know, you're expected to be winning this one out with 8 rounds, maybe up. So like an 8-4 scoreline for G2 would just be what you come to expect from a defensive side. And so the 2-0 start, keeping it out of the hands of FPX, considering how close it came, is definitely valuable.
Now this is the all-important round. What can Angel get done looking to get the entries into play? Smokes, nades, going to push Panatech away. He's going to bounce back into the B site. Meadow started off on the kill on Mixer. That's a big pickup. And now they've got site control, but Pip's going to hold in the back lines. There's 2 players there, but they've both fallen. Shadows wrecked them. Clean as you like. FPX have found their way in. Oh, this is going to have his position revealed for now.
No way. No way back in. This is a hell of an answer by FPX to come in on the first buy round and not only win it, but win it with 4 players alive. Okay, look, G2 had weaker weapons. Yeah, I'll give you that. But the reality is, either way, they shut it down. They pushed the hardest site to push into a Cypher as well. You're smiling, you're laughing right now if you're FPX. Remember, so Tom's just giving me the stats there in the background for the last 3 events, and it's between 60 and 65%. Well, between 61 and 65%, which again means, you know, 8-4 is a reasonable scoreline if you're a defending side. If you get 9, it's good. If you get 7, it's bad, more or less. But that is very dependent on what kind of matchups we're talking about. It is still a very small sample size, all in all. Maybe Tom can check that for me, how many games altogether those are for across all 3 events. But yeah, I think it's safe to say, you know, considering skill gaps and everything, 60%. So if they win this round, Banks, this is what I'm getting at. If FPX win this round, they are miles ahead of where they should be this early on in the half. And if you apply pressure like that to G2, that's a damn happy place to be at.
I was looking back right when you were doing that, and you're talking about that on the scores we saw. On the attacking side last time around, it was only 3 rounds for FPX, 9 on the defensive side for G2, right? So how you're looking at that is like, yeah, okay, I'm going to be defensive sided, but all FPX needs to do is show a little bit more on their attacking side, and the confidence levels can be so high. Remember, these 2 teams have been avoiding each other throughout all these practice games, back and back. They didn't want to face off against each other. They wanted to keep things hidden. There's a lot to play for. There's a lot on the line. Remember, did we even really touch on this? Like the fact that G2 just haven't lost the best of 3.
Yeah, it almost feels like that's just common knowledge at this point, right? It's just something that, it's almost like saying, you know, Angel plays Brimstone. Everyone knows it. G2 are just untouchable. Oh, David. He wants to do it. He wants to roll that Thunder on in, deafen some opponents, but don't look like he's going to be committing to it. In fact, swinging around and seeing, you know what? This is clear. They've given up that control. They've backed on off. I think he was doing that to try and support the site player, the initial rolling Thunder.
Rotation.
But see,
already,
that's because they've realized, right? David PC's, okay, they've got mid-aggression, they've got control, and they've left. Why would they do that? Not for a B push. They would only do that if they're going A.
Panatech could get away with doing some huge damage here. Manchester chiming with the first, on the second as well. He's getting it done, but Zipan lands the headshot. It's a slow push in. Mixwell's the only defender. He sprays down 2 while he's completely flashed. Eventually he's taken out, but it doesn't even matter. Piff had already rotated over, and G2 stands strong. FPX will not be getting back-to-back rounds on the board, and they make the right call. They were 1 step ahead of FPX, who again, they ran that clock right down. Mixwell living the dream, and even the dash out. He knows this map so well.
Nice, let's go. You can see it from Artis. He's happy. He's happy to win that one, as you would be. It's a real gift from above to be coming out on top in that round. And when you take a look at how things have gone down, even with the Marshall that was in play, to be able to come through and deal that damage is a little bit surprising to me. I think it was Panatech, right, that had rotated into play. Had he not have been there and ready to just spam away on distance and landed all 3 hits, that could have spiraled out of control quite quickly. But now we're on a 3-1 scoreline, a position for G2 that Obviously looks a little bit comfortable. They lost one where they used the weapons. They bounced back into the previous even with some disadvantages still. David P, he's launched in on the Rolling Thunder, but they don't get anything for it. In fact, Angel is the one opening that up.
Wow.
Artis falls, and this is falling apart at the seams for G2.
A lot was committed to G2 from that as well. You said about the Rolling Thunder. Patek now needs to come up huge. They're going to come up here. One by one, they start to come through, but Angel will only allow Zipan to fall. The flash is coming up. David P's putting one down, but he can't escape. It's far too much for him to handle, and only Piff remains. 3v1, and this looks like a surefire FunPlus Phoenix round. This is already starting off very differently from how these teams have played split against each other in the past.
The 3-2 is all about context, provided we get there. I'm surprised Pitt's even pushing forward. This guy has been impressive. I think he's been the strongest player in this tournament for G2. Maybe Artis could be definitely argued, but compared to what I'd expect from him in the role that he occupies, his killjoy has been on fire. When it came down to playing on Cypher as well, in the past, we've seen him be a beast. He's definitely just playing exits now, though. So when you look at 3-2, that's a position where really it's all about context. And the context of FPX's victory is unreal. If they won the pistol and they were 3-2 up, I don't care. That's G2 are still looking favorites. The fact that they lost it out, that they fell behind, and it's been 2 buy rounds now under their belt, this early on Split, the pressure's on G2. They've got to be reactive. Like you said, Banks, the previous time, it was a 9-3 half in favor of G2. And FPX almost took it to an overtime or maybe even a map win.
Now, this is where it gets interesting, though, because all in all, G2 know on paper in their heads, yeah, we are the better team. We know how to handle this. We know what we're up against. But it's how much, like I spoke about when we were talking about the pregame, right? It's the mentality. That's what it's definitely going to come down to. Because a loss here for FPX is just normal, right? It's just, okay, cool. We're sat in the same position. We're still working on this. It's G2 who have got the crown. It's G2 that need to hold on to that. The Mixwell, well, starting off taking down Zipan. That's a big scalp to take. And Artis playing close range with the Judge is very dangerous for these FPX players. They start to poke round and he still gets it done. Artis, cheeky. He's going to be spammed up. He might even be able to try and go in for another kill, but Shadow, he's got other ideas about it now. Already Patatek's worked his way over, but he needs to be careful as well. He's heavily outnumbered and just will back away.
Not worth committing towards that fight, but Mixwell, he goes in for it. Punished as the stun to the right side prompts David P to swing wide. He thinks he can catch an early flank, but instead he catches bullets right between his teeth. And unfortunately, it doesn't quite work the way it does in cartoons. You can't stop it. It's not possible. They tested it. I saw them.
Oh, nice.
Pith, though,
Timing.
He's busting up some heads. He shut down Shadow.
That's huge as well. It's completely stopped what they were trying to do. It's giving him extra information. But they're going to at least ignore the B site for now. They're expecting that the push would have continued here. Piff will have his camera set up, but it's not going to give him all the vision of the site. Like, doesn't it? No, it's not. Yeah.
There, they've seen the recon. They know it's here. They know this is a push to the B side. It has to be. The rotates are on their way. They'll be ready for an early retake. I don't think they can deny this spike plan. Surely not. No. He's now safe behind the box. Might catch him when he pops his head up. There we go.
Oh, beautiful stuff. I think it was Tom that put Piff as the MVP, right, on the first game that we saw. And rightly so. This man, whether it was Killjoy, whether it was Cypher, he plays it smart. He plays it steady. There was a time where a lot of people were saying Piff actually doesn't fit within this team. Well, actually, he's proven it. He's looking strong. He's looking good. His individual level standing strong. He never overcommits, right? He'll just know when to hang back. He'll know when to keep it chill.
Yeah, Pith made a really interesting point, actually, in those interviews beforehand. I hadn't actually realized before that the last time NIP were #1 in the world, he was on the lineup. There you go. It's a fun fact. But since his time on NIP and Counter-Strike, it was that Pith hasn't really done anything, has he? So coming into Valorant, there was no reason to suspect that. And it's similar to Patatek, right? That, okay, yeah, they'll probably be all right at best. They've come in and just been like, oh, yeah, we're gods at this game. Like, don't worry about it. We've been mediocre the last 2 years in Counter-Strike, but here we are. No, we own it. We're #1. It's unreal. The change around of it. These games just, I feel like multiple things. There's the barrel spotted. Good shot by Mixwell, and he dashed out of there as well, even full blind.
Yeah, Mixwell, he's got his positioning down perfectly. He knows what's up. And this is where FPX need to be able to get those refrags in. They can't keep going down a man early on, because just think, a couple of rounds now, they would have had the man advantage when it's got down to the wire. It's got right down to the end of it all. Now, Mitch, how many attacking rounds do you think FPX realistically need to have to stand a solid chance at actually taking this? What number are you going to give them for finding that success, considering how close it got last time around?
I think if they get 5, they're happy. They're over the moon if they hit 5. 4 is like their goal, I think. Anything past that is wild success. Considering how strong the defense is. Here we go. The ult through, but it's dodged and returned by Artis. He doesn't get anything either, but the head is connected, and that's all they needed. Meadow trying desperately to pull it back, but it's a 2v4, and they've got no access to the site with 3 players in position.
Oh, Piff. He's got the information, but he's not going to find the kills. Meadow's able to deal with him, but Meadow is super low now. Mixwell playing towards the back of the site. He's going to try and land this shot. He's a bit low himself. Misses the first. That's less than ideal. He gets blinded off the back of it. Oh, Patatek swings just as Shadow gets caught by the tripwire, and it's just not looking good for FPX. They look lost and confused in the site, and the time was running out.
This has been a back and forth round, an interesting one in a way. We saw a small chance for FPX to swing into things. But all in all, the fact that Mixwell got that kill, the fact he dashed out immediately, it shows the positioning of a Jet and how important it is. I really like that. The fact that even though he couldn't see, he knew that if he dashed directly to his right because of the angle he's holding, he's back into safety. And that's what we needed to see. It's something that I think it was Looker who was playing a little bit too loose for my liking when we saw him on Haven. He kept pushing down C long to the point that if you dash back, you're not actually safe. I think that's the whole benefit of a Jet in the start of the round looking for those picks, is that you can do that. That's why, like on Haven, I prefer seeing Jet on a long, at least if you're starting, or on mid, to look for those picks. On this map, there's a lot of angles you can hold with it. And you can see that also Mixwell is being quite versatile with where he's playing. Previous round, it was this side of mid over towards B. Now he's playing A long. Keeping it changing. And I prefer as well when you're up against these that was a pre-fire. There's no way his reaction time is that fast. I refuse to believe that.
Oh, he's having a field day now, though. He'll enjoy it. He'll chill on it. Okay, they're not up against much, right? It's heavily in G2's favor. But still, beautiful to see little shots like that. Nice little dink coming out there. Panatek put on to 5 health. The most unlucky, isn't it, that distance?
That nothing sucks more, man, than sheriffing someone. You get the headshot, and you're like, wait, why is he still shooting me? What? Why is he not dead? 145 and 1. Sucks. Yeah, you know, just wanted to quickly mention before that push came in, the fact that Mixwell changed positions over towards A long, I don't think was a coincidence. Keeping range when you're up against pistols is more important than anything. I think when you come into that angle versus rifles, it's just another angle. But versus the pistols, it gives you a massive advantage. For example, the 145 headshot will come through if they did hit you with the Sheriff because of the range. Yeah. And those kind of things are important because if you see him hold mid, he can get overwhelmed very quickly when they've got pistols and the faster plays.
Mixwell nearly landed that shot. Then a few bullets come out towards him and he has to back away. Losing his armor and getting put down to not too low a health, but less than ideal for him to play off with. FPX haven't had too much of a focus around A. It's been the mid and B plays over and over again. Shadow with Meadow have got up quite far, pushed up on the ramp. This might give them an opportunity. Artist has come all the way around. Will he expect 2 players to be there? He's instantly taken out. An advantage goes in favor of FPX, and this is exactly what they want, but they need to capitalize on it. They need to hold on to it all. The push coming in. Patatek needs to be very careful. The tripwire's dealt with, and the full push is coming in. The rotation's being called, and G2 are making their way to A. Still 40 seconds to go, and FPX, they can always throw a curveball into the mix. Mixwell waiting for someone to step into his side. Oh, great use of the ults, forcing everyone out of positions. Mixwell can't challenge it just yet. Oh, but Panatek double kills, managing to lock it down. Mixwell's hungry for more, but it's now all on Zipan. It's a 1v1. He's got one player to find. It's Piff. He's been huge for G2 so many times, and he does it once again. You can rely on him every single time. Even when it was looking so good for FPX, it just isn't enough. The coordination, the timing, it was all there for FPX. But Panatek, he was the game changer.
Unreal spray control by Panatek. I mean, look at David P and how happy he was. You could hear the scream of joy. And really, I'm not surprised. That round was nuts. Mixwell overextended a little bit. He definitely got a little bit too eager to get that second kill with the AWP. But Pith was there to trade it out. And fantastic work all in all done. 7-2. Again, it's looking good, but we have to remember FPX are not down and out of it yet. You might be sitting here going, oh, well, G2 got it right. They're dominating. 60%, man. I mean, FPX came back and almost won the game considering a 9-3 first half last time they met here. If Zipan didn't have 100% loss when he got pushed in rope room.
Oh, if only. If only.
For sure, a different game. But it is how it is sometimes. Now's their chance for revenge. And if FPX can just manage to win one buy round, get themselves up to 3, they're still in with a chance. If they hit 4 before the end of this, they're pretty happy. You know, they're already in a better spot than last time, right?
And look at how G2 mixed it up, though, right? Sometimes we're seeing David P get a bit aggressive. Right now, we're seeing Artist throw out all his utility. He's making it work, and he's pushing FPX back. He's done a nice bit of damage to both the Raze and the Sova. He's an absolute nuisance to deal with. And FPX, they feel like they're getting somewhere. They feel like they can push on something. And they're met with the full force of the rest of the members. David P needs to be careful on the edge of the flames. Only loses a little bit of health, though. And Rolling Thunder comes into play. Xiao trying to make it work with the Hunter's Fury, but all that's happening to the rest of his teammates are going down. Hardest onto Angel. He doesn't even know what's going on around him. It's a 5v2, and FPX, they have been halted at every step of the way.
Angel's just stood in a smoke in that round and gets smacked in the face by a showstopper. That's the worst way to go. I hope we get a replay of his cam. I don't reckon he was all too happy when that one went down. They're hunting him. They're coming after Xiao. They don't want him to save over this weapon, and pow! There he goes, knocked out of the round. And a good hunt by G2. The weapons just taken out of the hands of FPX, and even when they're in their hands, they don't seem to be doing too much. Right now, this is looking like the G2 show. They're looking confident. And, you know, some of these rounds have come close but no cigar.
I like to see it. Angel getting that tactical timeout in play. Start to talk things through. They know they can do better than this. Last time around, there was heavy reliance on both Xiao and Zipan to deliver a savage amount of kills. So far in this, we're not quite seeing that same form shown. And that's a huge problem, right? We speak about Zipan, we speak about Angel all the time, but I need Xiao to be that point man. If FPX want to stand a chance in this, he needs to get that next level that we've seen from him ever so often activated.
So 1 out of 2 of their tactical pauses used over on the FPX side. 30 seconds each is where we rock with them. And after that conversation, I'm wondering what we're going to see from the boys. As they come in with just pistols, is this going to be a more pointed and overwhelming strategy? No, at the moment, it's a shift through middle. They've left the spike behind with players outside A and B watching for pushes. This is a very grounded round. They don't want to give too much away to their opponents. Oh no! The rifle's taken down. They're shut out of the A site. Great early aggression by G2 as the smokes fade. And that is demotivating.
More demotivation comes their way. Artist is stood there ready and waiting. He may be slapped eventually by Xiao, but it doesn't really matter for now. He's all alone. It's 4v1, and the 9th round is easily secured by G2, dominating stuff from start to finish. And sometimes this Sova, right, it makes sense on many other maps when we look at what Xiao can deliver, but for a map like Split, I'm just not sold on it being necessary.
Yeah, you're not a Sova fan of this map. I mean, I can see it when it comes to split play. Actually, if you go back to the Valorant Clash, right, the level Clash 2, previous Ignition series for EU, which again had a lot of teams and thereby a lot of games. It was 5 plays of Split and not one Sova pick. So that's a pretty telling statistic. Artis, oh my, he's just ran out on mid. He's looking for a fight. He got one, but it maybe didn't go the way he wanted.
1 for 1. Was going to benefit the attack inside as they continue to push on forward. David P's trying to escape. Meadows taking out Mixwell, but Piff, he's waiting in the wings. He's down below. He pops the ult, and he wants to ensure that this is going to be a dominant first half. 3v2 in G2's favor, but David P is incredibly low. Piff still hanging down below, but he's not done yet. He is just cleaning them up. FPX don't have the answers, and Xiao's confidence is just not there. He's not even pushed on it. He was waiting in the wings. He wasn't ready to move forward, and he can't move forward now. They're just spamming him up. So unlucky, so unfortunate. It's going to take something incredible from this young man to try and grab this round for his team. But that's the start they would have wanted. But that was David P, who was already very low. Katatek's already starting to rotate over. But Piff, he's been Mr. Consistent. The MVP from the first game, as told by Tom. A dominant 10-2 scoreline here, Mitch. From start to finish, G2 showed up, and they did one better than the last time these two teams faced off on Split. The changes that are supposed to be the FPX buff have not come into play yet, and it looks like frustration is starting to mount from some of these camera shots and how it all goes down. We'll be going to a break, and then we'll be coming back to see if G2 can continue this domination or if FPX can battle back.
It's not fair at all.
What is this?
Nice.
Oh well, unlucky.
Ooh, Haven.
It seems like modern building-ish.
Split, definitely split.
So my guess is CT spawn on Split.
Between ramp and T-spawn. Yeah, I almost guessed it.
No! So close, so close.
But it's unfair. You're like showing me the building which not even on the map.
That's a hard one though.
It's fine. 1 point for a Split, right?
Oh yeah, this is Ascent, I think.
It's Inferno, of course.
I'm 100% sure on this one. A-long, I think, yeah, should be.
What maps do we have? Split, Heaven, Bind, Ascent. Okay, yeah, let it be A-long.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah, it's A-long for us. Nice, nice.
Ooh.
And I'm 95% sure I was aiming through these flowers like to find an arrow.
It's a hard one.
But now I need to remind myself what map it was and where it is.
I'm thinking Ascent or Bind.
Oh, flowers.
This one was super hard.
It should be Bind. I don't know why, but I think flowers is all around Bind.
Or Haven maybe actually. A main, like close to A main.
Tunnel, basically. Entrance to tunnel. There is only one tunnel.
I'm gonna guess like outside of A main on Haven.
No, it's long. No.
Oh well, unlucky.
It's actually harder than expected.
If I'm correct, I think I usually place a camera here.
Definitely Haven.
If I'm correct, I think this is Haven seaside.
You can lock my point already.
Oh wait, no, wait. It could be A as well.
A or C connector, I would say, right?
It must be Haven. Okay, split on B side somewhere. Quad maybe.
What? It's split?
Oh, I had one right at least.
It's not fair at all. See, the guy's flying up to see this texture. How can I answer this?
There's so many green boxes though.
Can I swear in Russian?
I'm gonna be honest with you, I have no idea right now.
Ooh, Haven.
Can't be B side on Haven, it can't be C side.
So there's the roof? Green boxes.
It can't be A. Oh yeah, it could be everywhere actually.
Or it's B.
Ascent B side.
Whew. It was really hard.
What is this? You don't even look up there. Did you guess B side on Haven? He's so smart. He's much smarter than me.
I will laugh at him after.
I'll take the loss on that one.
1 round better for G2 this time on Split when they face off against a new and improved FPX. But are they really new and improved? They looked so good yesterday, but no one seems to be able to stand up to G2. Piff has been looking incredible so far this tournament. He won the MVP of the first game for G2, and he could be on for a bit more of that if he keeps this going. The clutch plays, the smart plays. He is just overall Mr. Consistent right now. And FPX, if they don't get this pistol, it's potentially match point straight away for G2, who are looking large and in charge once again, Mitch.
Yeah, they absolutely are. They're proven. Now, this is the #1 team in Europe right now, and they are not taking any questions on #2 stepping up to take that mantle. We are looking at a...
Oh, Shadow!
Nice. Shadow, what was that, man?
Let's
nice
go.
Flash. He's looking for more. He's not finding any victims, and he's so low, but Meadow's there doing the work in the back lines as Artist comes in for more. At 2 versus 1, the Sova trying to pull this back. Shao up on top on the rafters. He's all the way in the corner. Oh, he's pulled off the angle, but he's still got the chance. Hasn't been peaked just yet. He might catch him off guard, but that was so bad. So he's walking backwards. That means when Artist comes around, he'll see his shoulder kind of slowly fading away. So he gets that info for free before he's ever spotted.
Incredible pistol round, very back and forth, some beautiful ghost shots coming out there. But G2, they take it. And if they get this next, they'll be on map point. The G2 domination doesn't stop. And the G2-0 theme could continue here. Question is, for how long will it go on for? FPX, they're going to force their way up into this. We've seen many crazy plays from that judge on Shao. Will it work out this time around? G2 taking it slow and steady to start off with.
They found my wire.
And I wouldn't go for an explosive play just yet.
Yeah, there's no need. Ooh. Certainly not against these kind of weapons. Meadow shutting down David P on range already with the Bulldog. Zipman's up close, and we've seen him do this before so many times. I think he got an ace in this position, at least a 4K before with the judge, but this time it's a little harder. Great read by Mixwell. Great job on the wide swing. And with that, oh, they need to check below. The Stinger could come through, but hold on. They're actually leaving. They're not looking for B. Instead, rotating into the A site. This is so smart. But Mixwell's control. He's got a very early flank if he is, or if he's not challenged, or if he is, a position that could catch them off guard. They've been stopped, though.
Wow. Straight onto Meadow. Mixwell, well aware of what's going on, and they're just going to bundle back towards the B site. No problem at all for G2 to get in there. Shadow's trying to catch him. He hears it, he sees it, but he can't fire any shots just yet. He'll start off with 1, but he needs a lot more than that. Waits for his team's backup. The pad attack's there to take the fight. Shao's going to be able to do 1 better for now, but it's still an even Stevens duel. Angel! What sheriff shots! That's what they needed. That's making the magic happen. But my oh my, it's still so close. You can't rely on things like that time and time again. It will be a 3rd round secured, but look at the uphill battle ahead of him here.
That's it, Banks. That is a lifeline delivered. It is being handed to them in that sense. I don't think they're going to feel comfortable after a round win like that. You won't hear any hip-hip hoorays going down. This is all a real thankful position they're in that they've been given this opportunity. That swing by Mixwell was so well read. Yeah. I mean, they clearly know what they're up against in this FPX team, realizing that, you know what, there's probably a judge up close, at least a shorty. Someone's waiting. And especially after they'd seen that Bulldog, right? As soon as they spotted it, they're like, all right, so we're talking judges now. We're talking real weapons.
Oh, Mixwell straight in and pop the ult. He doesn't want to allow any momentum to be gained here for the side of FPX. They're straight into the B site. Zipan hoping to make some magic happen, but he puts the boom bot out and gets shot in the back. Artist was there ready and waiting. Mixwell's getting up close and personal, and he's not finished yet. He's going in with the knives, but Angel wants to put an end to it. The FPX team are trying to push back, but it's coming down to these duels. There's a lot of 1v1 fights going in. He's on the hunt. He's trying to make it work, but Shadow got to be cautious. Working his way through. David P's position is going to be known now, so no flank attempt to come in here. He's dealing away with it, but he's not going to get any kills. Angel up high. He's got Shao to back him up. They're trying to pop the ult down. Padatek smartly gets the hell out of there. Both players need to start making a move. They need to get on top of that spike. Oh, the ult is up already. It's getting done. Oh, it's just not possible. It's going to go the way of G2. And Artis, he manages to make it happen in style. The ult and so much committed. He's loving life. He's smiling large. And G2 are 1 round away from absolutely humiliating FPX on Split.
This was so good. The molly came through. He took so much damage, I thought it was over, but the nade, he bounces it perfectly to Angel's feet. And that is a close round, but that little smile from Mixwell sums it up. They're happy. They're definitely dominating. And FPX have got a whole lot to do to get back into this one. This is, we talk about this map being defensive-sided. Well, when we're talking about the amount of rounds they need, 9 in a row, I think it might be a little bit too big of an ask, Banks.
Yeah, this is crazy. G2 are making a statement right now that you may think it might be a meta for a certain team. You may think a buff might come your way. You may think a nerf will affect us in one way. But they are showing us that they are just a capable, confident team of individuals who know what they're doing when it comes to this game. People talk about the competition in Europe, right? And yeah, lack of orgs being here and stuff like that. But we have some incredibly skilled players that are putting in massive amounts of time and work. But right now, G2, they are just a whole nother level above everyone. Ooh, Shadow. Spotted it.
There's a great amount of flashes coming out from Shadow, but he needs to deliver some kills. Xiao's already being dropped, and Shadow's left alone on the back of the side. Angel's coming through to try and provide a little bit of support, but he goes down. So too does Shadow, and it might have started out with Xiao picking up the opening duel, but now they've got to come all the way back into a 2v4. Zipan, just a Sheriff in play. He's doing okay damage to Patatek, but the blast packs aren't enough to even make him one hit to the Sheriff. This is tough.
Oh, dear.
Time is low. Spike's on the site, though, so no problem. And a 1v4 that just cannot be won. What